This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about yesterday's White House press briefing with Donald Trump and Anthony Fauci, and maybe Mike Pence spoke for a minute or two, which is not the crux of what I want to talk about, but it is interesting that he's supposed to be the point person with the coronavirus response, the government's response to this pandemic, and he's just had his legs taken out from under him. Donald Trump put him in charge and then realized he's getting too much screen time, far more notoriety than Donald Trump was getting. So now, every single day, Donald Trump is right behind the podium, spouting misinformation, talking about his gut feelings about things, rather than relying on the experts, the medical experts, the epidemiologists, the immunologists, the physicians, the people who have dedicated their lives in the pursuit of science and medicine and curing humans of disease. He takes the podium. He takes the lead on answering questions to which he does not know the answers. And that's evident. Yesterday's press briefing was not unique, but it struck me a couple of things. One was his continuing touting of this hydroxychloroquine, which is an anti-malarial, or it treats the symptoms of lupus in some people. And Donald Trump has touted this medication over and over and over from the White House press briefing behind the podium of the President of the United States. And because of that, we are seeing shortages in supply of that medicine to people who desperately need it. People who get malaria, people with lupus. And I don't think this is all of the reason, but I think it certainly plays a role that malaria isn't really a problem here in the United States. So he doesn't care if people who desperately need it for malaria treatment don't have it. And lupus is a disease that white people, it's not certainty that no white people get it, because white people do get lupus, but it is a far larger likelihood that you will get it if you're black or Asian or a Native American. So why would he care? Throwing that out there. But it has absolutely led to shortages. I'm going to play a clip of Trump. I know people hate it, but there will be a little ticker at the bottom that lets you know how much is left in the clip. So if you want to skip along and skip through Donald Trump's droning on, please do. But listen to the last minute or so. That'll give you a flavor for what he said and just the nonsense. Here it is.
Almost all instances, but we have a great system. And the other thing that we've bought a tremendous amount of is the hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug on malaria. And there are signs that it works on this, some very strong signs. And in the meantime, it's been around a long time. It also works very powerfully on lupus. So there are some very strong, powerful signs, and we'll have to see, because again, it's being tested now. This is a new thing that just happened to us, the invisible enemy, we call it. And if you have no signs of heart problems, the azithromycin, which will kill certain things that you don't want living within your body. It's a powerful drug. If you don't have a problem, a heart problem, we would say, let your doctor think about it. But as a combination, I think they're going to be, I think there's two things that should be looked at very strongly. Now, we have purchased and we have stockpiled 29 million pills of the hydroxychloroquine, 29 million. A lot of drugstores have them by prescription, and they're not expensive. We're sending them to various labs, our military, we're sending them to the hospitals, we're sending them all over. I just think it's something, the expression, I've used it for certain reasons. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And a lot of people are saying that when, and are taking it, if you're a doctor, a nurse, a first responder, a medical person going into hospitals, they say taking it before the fact is good, but what do you have to lose? They say take it. I'm not looking at it one way or the other, but we want to get out of this. If it does work, it would be a shame if we didn't do it early. But we have some very good signs. So that's hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. And again, you have to go through your medical people, get the approval. But I've seen things that I sort of like. So what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I have common sense.
Talk about the no shit moment of the week, huh? That Donald Trump is not a doctor, everybody. Rest assured, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dipshit who happens to be president of the United States with zero education or expertise in these particular matters that really do matter. And the fact that you have common sense, well, one, you don't have common sense, Donald Trump, lest we all forget the moment that you stared directly into the sun during an eclipse. We'd be better off, would we not, if we just grabbed a broomstick and crammed an old moldy loaf of bread onto it and glued some googly eyes on it and had that be the president. Maybe I could contact a local veterinarian office here and get a bag filled with cat puke. That seems to be something that would serve as a better president than Donald Trump. Because later in this same press conference, a reporter asked Dr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci, the head of the CDC, and wanted to ask his expert medical opinion about the use of hydroxychloroquine. And Donald Trump didn't step in and, well, I already answered that. He shamed the reporter, didn't allow the reporter to finish asking the question, and also didn't allow Dr. Fauci to answer it. Watch this.
And would you also weigh in on this issue of hydroxychloroquine? What do you think about this, and what is the medical evidence?
That question?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe 15 times. You don't have to ask.
He's your medical expert, correct?
He's answered that question 15 times.
Dr. Fauci, why are you not wearing a face mask?
What do you mean?
So because Donald Trump's not a doctor, but, he has common sense, he says. Well, one, this isn't an issue for which common sense gets the job done, even if he did have common sense. Anthony Fauci, which I'm getting ready to play a clip back from March 20th, of when he did answer this question, Anthony Fauci's not relying on common sense when he answers about the use of this drug. He's relying on hard, sound, scientific data, research, copious amounts of human effort and ingenuity, combing over results of studies. Not common sense. But here is what a question was asked of Dr. Fauci from John Roberts from Fox News. And this, when he's given a chance to answer, is how he answers.
And to Dr. Fauci, if I could. Dr. Fauci, as was explained yesterday, there has been some promise with hydroxychloroquine, this potential therapy for people who are infected with coronavirus. Is there any evidence to suggest that, as with malaria, it might be used as a prophylaxis against COVID-19?
No, the answer is no. And the evidence that you're talking about, John, is anecdotal evidence. So as the commissioner of FDA and the president mentioned yesterday, we're trying to strike a balance between making something with a potential of an effect to the American people available at the same time that we do it under the auspices of a protocol that will give us information to determine if it's truly safe and truly effective. But the information that you're referring to specifically is anecdotal. It was not done in a controlled clinical trial, so you really can't make any definitive statement about it.
And that is the answer that should have been allowed. Not Donald Trump. Donald Trump should not be speaking to these questions because he's not an expert in the field. He's really not an expert in any field except for how to navigate bankruptcy law. He is a clear and present danger to not only the United States and her people, but to the world. Our death rate is climbing day by day by day. When you watch this, there will likely be over 10,000 Americans who have died because of this virus. And the government's delayed response, Donald Trump's delayed response because he was trying to paint a rosy picture or calling it a hoax, have led to tens of thousands of people that will be dead in the United States. He, without a doubt, has blood on his hands. I would love to know what you think about this. Please call me, 714-576-4054. Email me at daily@dollemore.com. This week I'm going to do a mailbag episode. I might even do a live call episode like I did a couple weeks ago. But I'd love to hear from you. Get your questions in, get your comments in. Let's talk about this. This is I want this show to be a platform to amplify your voices as well as mine. So again, 714-576-4054. daily@dollemore.com. And as I always end episodes, I would ask you that you'd consider being a channel member, which there should be a join button below the video, whether just above the description or wherever it is. And I would ask you to help support independent media like this. I've said in the past that it doesn't matter if it's me. I mean, it helps me if you support my channel. But if I'm not your favorite, if somebody else gives you more value than me, support that person. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing and sharing and getting the word out. I appreciate you guys so much. Be genuine. Take care of one another.